What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the series Chasing Zion 100. Today I'm going to walk you through not only a full day of workouts, kind of a little day in the life, but also walk you through some of my strengths, some of my weaknesses, and how I've gotten myself to be able to raise that Leadville 100 in August to now be chasing a sub 130 half marathon goal and some other speedy goals that I have on the calendar. So I'm going to walk you through that today, and we're just going to do a full day of training as well. So yesterday was a little bit out of the ordinary as far as training goes. Recently, I've been averaging around like 68-ish miles a week, 66 to 68. And yesterday was my first bigger mountain day that I've done in a while. Obviously, you guys know that I did rim to rim to rim. When was that? November? So last month, and that was obviously a really big trail day, but I haven't been on the trails a ton recently doing high vert days. So yesterday was my first day back doing that for an event for my friend Abby. You guys know Bart, Shane, and Danny also went out as well, and it was super fun, but we didn't get back home until almost like 11 p.m. So that is why I'm starting today's workout a little bit later in the day, but I'm excited about it. We'll get some warmer temps for a speed session. I will say if I do any sort of vert or a heavy leg day the day before speed, it definitely does affect my performance a little bit, but in my brain, I kind of view it as it just makes me grittier. It makes me more prepared for a ultra marathon like Zion 100 or any other events coming up where it requires me to be gritty and to perform on fatigued legs. So practice makes perfect. And even if it's not ideal for the situation or for the workout, it definitely makes me stronger, which we always love. You guys have seen me do this before, but I'm going to program into my watch my workout for the day. You can do this on your phone or on your computer, but since I am home, I'm going to do it on my computer. And this makes it really easy to actually have the cues on your watch while you're running. So if you're doing any sort of workout, it's just much easier to not have to remember what your training looks like and or look back at your phone to see what it looks like or estimate kind of what your times are at. It's just so much easier to have the cues on your watch telling you exactly when to go and how fast to go, and to keep track of your intervals. I am someone who is horrible at keeping track of my intervals in general. I just don't know what it is, but I have a horrible time doing that. The watch is really, really helpful for doing this. So if you have a Garmin, you can go on to Garmin Connect either on your phone or on your computer, and you can program it directly into that. So that is what I am doing this morning. Today's workout, we have 1 mile easy, followed by our working set that is going to be around 6 miles total. In those 6 miles, we're going to do 3 minutes at a 6:30 pace, followed by 2 minutes at a 7:30 pace. So we're not fully recovering in these intervals, but we're going to do those approximately 9 times to get us within that 6 mile-ish range. And then we'll recover for 1 mile. So the estimated distance today is going to be around 8.6 miles and an estimated time of about an hour. This is what we're going to program. We're going to save this workout and we're going to send it to the watch. That way it's ready to go when we hit the track. So now that I resynced, if you go to training and then you go to workout library, it should pop up here. So right here, it's the run workout I just programmed. And that is how we can start it directly on our watch after programming it. So something that definitely used to be a weakness of mine, and I didn't even know it, was knowing how to properly fuel for sessions and or just fuel in general. I 100% of the time would train fasted, and I would wonder why I would be so tired after every single training session, but also I would wonder why I had no energy for the later half of my workouts once I started to run over like 6-ish miles. In the military, we always trained fasted because we didn't eat until after we trained, which is okay, obviously, and that just became the norm for me. So that's really how I trained for many, many years, was fasted. But I definitely sound like a broken record at this point, but if you are training fasted, you are really honestly trying to pour from an empty cup, or you're trying to operate a vehicle without any gas or electricity if you have an EV in your car. And it's just not efficient. It's not going to be sustainable for you long term. And in general, you're just not going to perform optimally at all if you're training fasted. Once I started training fueled, I really never looked back. And if you've ever watched Andrew Huberman's podcast, he actually had a guest on named Stacy Sims. She's an incredible resource for female athletes, specifically high performing female athletes who are looking for a little bit of guidance. But that podcast in general is incredible, and she really hones in on the science when it comes to women and training fueled versus training fasted. Something that I found really fascinating as well is that women cannot actually pull glycogen from our muscles or store glycogen in our muscles nearly as effectively as men. So we require that intra-workout fuel and that pre-workout fuel even more than men do. So if you're a woman and you're training fasted, I am going to challenge you to train fueled, and for one, see how how you feel and then see how you recover as well afterwards. But in general, I recommend that everyone trains fueled over fasted. So if training fueled is something that you struggle with or it's a weakness of yours, I would just encourage you to try it out. And the same thing that we do with training is we just need practice under the belt. So if you've never trained fueled before or never taken a gel before along your workouts, just start slow and slowly work up to be able to handle more calories and get your gut accustomed to be able to handle food. So for me, I started with really easily digestible carbs and slowly started working up from there. And I started with gels every 45 minutes, and now I do gels every 25-ish minutes now. In addition, I've also worked my gut up to be able to handle more food before my workouts. So now I can handle carbs, proteins, fats, the whole gambit before my workouts, versus before I felt like if I ate, I would feel a little bit sick. But in order to be comfortable with something that is difficult for you, you have to push yourself to be a little bit uncomfortable at the beginning. And the more discomfort you endure, the better your endurance gets. Just like training, just like running, just like lifting, all of the above, the same thing applies with nutrition. So test out your gut and then put in the practice and be consistent about it throughout your training block. So we just made it to the track. I'm gonna get a little warm up in. I'm gonna get my shoes on. I'll do a quick OOTD. I'm gonna keep this little puffer jacket on for the warm up because it is pretty cold, and then I'll strip. But the top I have on is an Amazon top. The shorts are Amazon shorts. I have CEP socks on, and then I am gonna be wearing the Alpha Flies. I'll show you guys this. And then for the intervals, I'm gonna be wearing the Alpha Fly 3s, testing these out to see if these are gonna be my half marathon shoe. So I'm gonna pop these on and then we will start our little warm up. Got dog hair as always on the socks. I have used these for a lot of my speed session days, which I really do like them for that. I'm contemplating right now if I'm gonna wear these or the New Balance SC Elites for my half. I did wear the SC Elites for the half that I raced a couple weeks ago and I really loved them, but I do feel like I get a little bit more pop from these shoes. So just gonna depend on how the next couple weeks of training goes to decide which shoes that I'm gonna be wearing. I was gonna keep the puffy on for the first mile, but I'm just being such a baby. I'm gonna take it off. So now you can see the full fit. I always get asked which watch I have. I have the Garmin Fenix 8. This is the best watch that has ever touched my wrist. Absolutely love it. So that's what's gonna walk us through this workout. Let's get our 1 mile warm up in. One more lap of warm up.
Is this the void I'm searching for?
Really hard. I'm dead. Can you see it my nose?
No.
So that is gonna wrap up our track workout. We ended today with an average pace of 7:03, 8 miles and a half around. But that one was really hard. Once again, kind of tapping on one of my weaknesses, which is like a consistent fast speed. I'm pretty good at just doing sprint intervals or really fast intervals with recovery, but this type of workout is really challenging for me. So that was really good. I have a meeting in like 3 minutes, so we're gonna pop off, but I will check in with you guys when we get back home and then also take you through a lift later today. See you all later. We've got the meats. We have a pack package from Force of Nature. I'll open it up for you guys. This is just my monthly subscription. Every time that I post that I eat elk, I get asked where I get my elk, and the answer is from Force of Nature. This is where I get the majority of my elk, and I just have it shipped from their headquarters in Austin. Force of Nature focuses on regenerative farming, so in general, this is a much more sustainable way to purchase meat, and for me, I just love their ground elk. It's incredible. So in this package, we just have a bunch of these ground elk packages. I get 12 in every package. I generally go through this every month, if not a little bit quicker than every month, but I can always order more. So this is just the staple that I have on subscription. So 12 of these. Each individual package is 14 ounces, which is just under 1 pound. So really great option. If you like to purchase elk, I definitely recommend Force of Nature. It's incredible. This is not sponsored. I just genuinely really love them. We just made a little bit of my non-stim pre-workout. I just throw some creatine in some flavored water, and this is my pre-workout. We are starting our lift around 7 p.m., so I wanna make sure that I'm not having any caffeine beforehand. So today we're gonna hit lower body. We have a long run on Saturday, so I like to stack my leg days no later than on Wednesday, and honestly, stacking it with a speed day really does just feel good in general. If I'm gonna trash my legs because of speed, I'm just gonna trash them anyway at the gym. So I'm gonna drink this and head to the gym, and I'll see you guys there for a lower body day. We just made it to the gym. I am gonna go in and film. This is another one of my, you can call it my weaknesses. It has nothing to do with athletic performance, but for some reason, I'm still uncomfortable filming in public. And you guys know, I've only been doing this for, oh my gosh, since maybe March. So it hasn't even been that long. But filming in public is definitely still one of those things that I just get nervous about. My gym completely allows it. They actually welcome it. They want me to film in there. So it has nothing to do with that. It's just purely I don't know, I'm uncomfortable with it. But the more that we practice something, the better that we get at it, and the more just comfortable we get with being uncomfortable in the environment. So that is what we're going in there to do. As always, they do play music, so I'm not gonna do any talking, or if I do any talking, it'll be really short talking. Most of this will be B-roll, but I wanna still take you guys along for this lower body lift. So hope you enjoyed this footage, maybe some montage with some good music, and I will check in with you guys after we're done with this lift. Let's go work on some of our weaknesses in the gym, because Lord knows that I have them. 100% I have them. Number one is gonna be lunges. Actually, let's just list all the weaknesses that I have, and maybe let's just actually do them at the gym today. Number one is gonna be lunges. I pulled my groin about, 5 months ago now, and any sort of step up or lunge still really does aggravate it. So I'm gonna do a couple exercises that will strengthen my muscles that activate in a lunge or in a step up, but I'm gonna keep it pretty light. But I do wanna do something that highlights that weakness. And then another thing is glute. I'm always working on my glutes because in general, I'm definitely more quad dominant and hamstring dominant. So especially on uphills or inclines in the mountains, I can feel it 100% in my hamstrings, but I don't necessarily feel it in my glute. And that's something that I'm working on. So really highlighting those weaknesses for myself and really pushing myself in the gym during this season to get stronger and strengthen those weaknesses is going to help me so much come Zion 100, come 16 weeks. Oh my gosh, 16 weeks, y'all. 4 months. We're getting so close. So anyway, we're gonna work on those things in the gym, and I will check in with you guys after we're done.
If you only knew.
We are back home. I'm gonna cook up some dinner. It is kind of late, so I'm gonna wrap up this video. But before I wrap up, I just wanted to talk really briefly about the importance of finding your strengths and finding your weaknesses. And in sport, I think it's really obvious when something is a strength of yours. I think you can really easily identify that, but I think finding your weaknesses is something that's a little bit more difficult and takes a little bit more time to really identify. And I think the hard part about finding weaknesses is it often takes a failure or something that's difficult for you to realize that something is a weakness. But really honestly identifying your weaknesses can be such a gigantic superpower, because when we're blind to things, we can't actually invest time and energy in those things. And being blind can be great. I think sometimes there is greatness in being naive and being new to things, but I think as we grow as endurance athletes, as people, as humans, as wives, as husbands, as parents, I think it's really, really great to sit down and reflect and figure out exactly where you might need to invest a little bit more energy. And because our energy is literally our greatest resource, our time and our energy is something that we can never get back. We need to be mindful of how we're investing these things. And as someone who's gone through cancer, I can tell you firsthand, when you are faced with something that challenges your existence, you realize how important time is and how valuable time is, and that truly is our greatest resource. It's not money, it's not investments, it's not assets, it's not how big your house is, it's not the nice things that you have to fill your house with, it's not your clothes, your shoes. It is your time and how you spend it with the people that you love. And if you're not spending your time doing things that you love and growing in the things that give you purpose and fill your heart with joy and passion, then you might need to reallocate in other ways, because we shouldn't be living a life that feels like just an existence. We should truly be living our lives out. And truly living our lives out starts with intentionality. It starts with honesty and integrity. And it takes time to develop those things, but I think when we are a little bit more introspective, we can really highlight how those things impact our lives. And it might not be obvious to think about being honest and having integrity as being able to identify weaknesses, but it is. If you're honest with yourself and you have integrity, you can realize that, hey, I'm really good in this department, but I might need to work on these things in this department. And we've all had conversations with our spouses, with our friends, with teammates about things that we can work on in our lives. But I think it takes a really confident person to be able to identify those things in their own life before someone else tells them, and to work on those things in their life. So I know that weaknesses in sport are a little bit more surface level, but I hope that we can take this message into other portions of our life. For me, my faith has been something that I've shared a little bit on here, but it's something that is going to stay present here on this channel, because for me, something that I felt like was a weakness was my lack of boldness and my lack of courageousness. And it's something that if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've recently stepped into over the past year, is being bold in my faith and having courage to step out of what I think might be acceptable to those watching and really live my life out for God's glory, and to be able to impact others and help others with the things that I'm sharing. So I hope that is something that's positive that you're taking away from this channel as well. And that's something, once again, that is going to continue here on this channel, is just me stepping into my boldness, into my courageousness, and surrendering control of certain things in my life. The last weakness that I'm going to share with y'all is a little bit closer to the heart. It is truly this weakness in the ability to surrender control. I, for so many years of my life, felt like I needed to control every little thing, because having control of that individual thing just seemed to make my life easier. In college and in high school, I would take on group projects and do 99% of the work in group projects because I wanted the control. And for one, how selfish is that? Because I didn't allow the light of other people to shine. And for two, I was never able to develop trust for others that I was working with. And that definitely trickled into college and then into the military. I think with my job in the military being so high stakes, me having control of things was something that was necessary. But as I've transitioned out and life looks so different than it did just a few years ago, I've realized that my ability to surrender has made my life so much better, and I'm just now getting better at that. So it's something that I'm really, really working on in my life, because I truly feel like God has a plan for me, and God has control, and He has plans that are so much greater than I could even imagine. And I think that He has great plans for you that are greater than what you can imagine. And if we learn to just surrender those things and give them to Him, He's gonna take it and make it into something so much more beautiful than we can even imagine. So stepping into my boldness, into courageousness, and the ability to surrender and have some radical faith, I think are things that I am working on and praying for and continuing to journal on and meditate on, because I know those things are gonna help me so much in my life, and they're therefore are gonna help so many other people in my life and here on YouTube as well. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and these little vulnerable chats. I am honestly so excited about doing this series again. It just brings me so much sense of purpose and passion, and I just love spending time with you guys and having these little chats. So if you enjoy videos like this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I know a ton of people are watching these videos who are not subscribed, so if you are not subscribed, please do so. It really does help me out, and it shows support to the channel. So I hope you guys have an incredible week, and by the time this is posted, it is going to be Christmas week. So Merry Christmas. I hope that you have a wonderful time with your family and are able to celebrate the beautiful things that we are gifted in this world. And until next time, stay unbreakable.